Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for some more of the Vancouver Sevens. This one, a very important matchup for the Blitzboks. They do have to make sure they win it. And because of the pressure that France have just put on the Japanese, it means that they have to win it by roughly, I would say, the margin of about 10 or more for the Blitzboks to have a decent crack of going through to the next stage of the competition. Currently in Pool B, Argentina sit top of the bunch with 2 wins from 2. The points differential of 28. Then South Africa in second as we currently sat. But now that France have got themselves the victory, it now means that they will take that spot in second place. So it's a massive game for the Blitzboks. If they lose this one, I believe we then look at the points differential, and that would be where France do find themselves going through to the next stage. Looking through at the Argentine side, it will be Hermain Schultz, Luciano Gonzalez, Rodrigo Isgro, Azachuk, also Fraha, Bias Wade and Palandini, the last man in that starting lineup. Then for South Africa, Zane Davids, Ryan Oosterhuizen, Impi Visa, Saviwe Soyez-Wapi, Christy Hrubala, Shilton Van Veek, and Ricardo James Duarte, the last man in the starting lineup for the South Africans. But it's certainly going to be a tough game for them. Argentina, no way, any shape or form, an easy beat. In fact, they are a side that have caused many sides problems in the past. But this matchup could be that little bit different. We might see a slightly more hungry box side. And Los Pumas, they will be trying their absolute best to be able to stop that from happening. As at the end of the day, side that you don't want to end up going up against in a quarterfinal, semi-final, or a final is South Africa. They are a big match side that normally end up stepping up in those moments. And Argentina will know that. They would much prefer if France were the team going through. Although saying that, there's normally some close games between Argentina and France in the past as well. Stephen Marks has said think Argies might take this one. Says Stephen, but it's going to be kicked off long by Argentina out on the full. Going back to the halfway line, and South Africa now will have themselves the quick tap. So looking at the way that the table sits currently for Pool B, France are sitting in third. And in fact, South Africa would just have to win this game by 5 points to have the better points differential out of them and France. And the reason that we talk about that points differential is because France and South Africa actually ended up drawing. So that made the draw a little bit different as well. But now Saviwe Soyez-Wapi, nice pass out on the outside to Ryan Oosterhuizen. Looking strong early on in this contest. Christy Hrubala. Now, bit of a step there. Mentioned they have still got Impi Visa out on the field, who is still rocking the headgear and the face mask for this leg of the Sevens, trying to protect the facial structure. Ricardo James Duarte breaks through one tackle. Oosterhuizen plays half. Going back now to Zane Davids. Not the best pass to Christy Hrubala, who was able to control it with his ankles. And the penalty goes the way of South Africa for the player rolling away incorrectly. Sounds like they are going to be calling for the scrum here, these South Africans, and they will be physical in the early stages of this matchup, trying to put in a few big hits for the Argentines. They've got Marcos Mineta coming off the bench. He can be the X factor that they are after, but a few good players off the bench for the Blitzboks, including some new young names, the likes of a Gershon Ware. Also, Hayward is going to be coming off the bench some stage throughout this matchup. It's just when they decide to use those young players is the big question. Ricardo James Duarte feeds the ball in, kind of, does he? Time off there. What happened? Okay, needs to release it first before both teams hook the ball. Says the referee, and go South Africa, go. Says Amira there. Yeah, the winner of this match will, or in fact, even the loser of this match to a certain extent, if that is Argentina, will still qualify. They were able to get their head-to-head victory up against the French. But South Africa, this is a win or be knocked out of the competition scenario. And they do need to win it by 5 points. They can't just win it by the 2. Now that's going to be a knock-on from Saviwe Soyez-Wapi. Now, Argentina will have themselves a scrum. Fiji had a tough match. They did. Went down 15-0 up against Great Britain, but like they always seem to be able to do, managed to fight back in that second half to win the game. Actually, almost comfortably. 11 points, I believe, was the difference between those two sides, which is crazy to think after seeing the first half where Fiji touched the ball twice. It just shows that they are a fighting side and they're willing to put in those hard yards to get through. So they now have booked themselves a spot in the quarterfinals alongside Great Britain. Their quarterfinal match will be happening at 5:05 p.m. New Zealand time or somewhere around there. Palandini, ball on the outside to Assad Suk. Now Christy Robela trying to put pressure on in the breakdown now, going off to the left-hand side. Hermain Schultz now. Oh, big fend there on Impevisa. Now back across to the right-hand side. The Pumas trying to keep this one in their hands for as long as physically possible. Azad Suk tries to go straight through. Loose ball. Can't afford to have too many of those. Tobias Wade gives it back to Hermain Schultz again. It's like some of these Pumas players struggling to run on the AstroTurf at the moment. They look like they're quite used to the artificial grass rather than the regular green stuff. Referring to grass, of course. Tobias Wade. Now wrestled down low in the tackle by Shilton van Wyk, and South Africa get themselves the penalty. Now 3 minutes remaining in the rugby like politics. Says Andre, if you're talking about the changes in their team, it's just because they've had injuries. They keep on losing players due to little ones. I mean, MP Visa is currently still playing with a mask holding his nose together. Yet he's still out there on the field. So I feel like that should tell you everything you need to know. Now, South Africa, they are going to be sitting there with 38 meters out from the line. It would be mean to compare MP Visa looking like the gingerbread man at the moment with that mask, but just went there. Ricardo James Duarte about to throw the ball in now for the Blitzboks. Goes in, wasn't the straightest throw, probably lucky to get away with that one there, South Africa. Now, Christy Robela almost goes through, doesn't quite find his offload to Saviwe Soyas-Wapi. Now Shilton van Wyk goes back across to Ricardo James Duarte. Another good tackle made by this time Fraha on the halfway line. Shilton van Wyk goes across now to Saviwe Soyas-Wapi. Ball on the outside to Christy Robela. Now pins his ears back. Gets wrestled into touch. Same with Saviwe Soyas-Wapi, and he was just out to South Africa, conceding the line out. I think this one's going to be going down to wide. Just from what we've seen in the first half, both sides evenly matched, both having their own attacking scenarios. It looks like, are Argentina making a sub already? It looks like they are. That is actually going to be Elizalde. Yeah. Elizalde, I believe it is, coming out onto the field. And that might not actually be the only change that they've decided to make. Palandini now. Like he is going to have himself the Argentine throw. Just mention about the fact that the winner of this game will be facing off against Fiji, which will not be an easy game, but it will be the matchup that they find themselves with. And the loser of this game will face Great Britain. I think you prefer, well, the loser of this game actually will not be facing them. That would actually end up being possibly France if South Africa end up losing this contest. Big fend on a Marcos Maneta by Saviwe Soyas-Wapi. Now Ricardo James Duarte going back across again. Zane Davids over the top. Ryan Oosterhuizen, the ball goes into touch, unable to grab it. We have got there from Juan. Go Argentina, go. And Pizza Blazers said, good morning, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Currently even as can be in the first 6 minutes of this contest. Not a single point scored. Pilandini now. Got to throw it in. Like I mentioned, Argentina, if they win this game or lose it by less than 4, they will still keep their top spot, but also it will still be South Africa who go through rather than France. Big shot on Azutuk. Finds his offload to Rodrigo Isgro, who lost his footing. Now South Africa with the counter. Rucker looks like Ryan Oosterhuizen able to get the turnover, but almost turned over by Azutuk again. The Blitzboks bounce out with it. Shilton van Wyk goes with a kick in behind. Well cleaned up by the youngster. Elizalde. Argentina inside of their own 22. Here comes Luciano Gonzalez. Quick stepping, breaks through the line and driving forward up to about 30, in fact 45 meters out from Los Pumas line. Cross to the right-hand side again. Sounded like they did have the advantage for half a second there. Marcos Maneta with the draw and pass now out on the wing. It is going to be Elias Dale. All he had to do was give it off to Marcos Maneta. He still has to pass it. He decided against it. And that is the lack of experience that has come into play. It was a certain try if he gave it off to Marcos Maneta, but he got greedy. And it may have just cost his side. Now they will kick it into touch in the form of Ndlovu. And that will now be halftime. Argentina gonna. Says Juan and go Argentina go. And that was a for sure try for the Argentines. But unfortunately, the mistake made by the young player. And Marcos Maneta would have been in every day of the week there for the first try of the matchup. But at halftime, ladies and gentlemen, we sit 0-0. You've got Rudy in the chat as well. Welcome in. Yeah, 0-0 at the moment. Scoreboard decided it didn't really need to update, seeing as there was no other tries or points or anything in that first half. But 3 offloads from Argentina compared to the one of South Africa. You wonder how much that might end up costing them in this game by not taking that opportunity. South Africa, of course, need to win this game by, I believe it's a margin of 5 or more to make their way through to the next stage. And in that next stage, if Argentina win, they will be taking on Great Britain in one of their quarterfinals. Selfish as Stephen Marks, it was one of those moments where the young player thought, I'm going to be able to make a name for myself here if I score this try. But he just ended up absolutely blowing it. Like, as soon as I saw that cover defender for South Africa, I thought you need to pass that ball to Marcos Maneta. He didn't. Some people forget the assist is sometimes as good as the try, and the players, they forget that as well. And he should have done it. Should have passed that ball. South Africa win the game tonight. Says Gershwin, they have to, or else they will be knocked out of the competition. And go the Blitzboks, go South Africa, says Dirk. And Argentina wins. Argentina wins, says Juan Inicio. Pedroso Martinez. Now, but next game will be Spain versus USA. That's an intriguing one because Samoa, they will have to get themselves the victory over New Zealand to have a real crack, unless, of course, the USA do end up getting beaten by Spain. Then there's still the technicalities of what may end up happening. Now, Ricardo James Duarte be kicking off this second half. Close one. No points scored as of yet in this matchup. But now, second half about to get underway. Greetings from Colombia as well, or Colombia. Says Neil, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Must be a late night for you, if I'm not wrong. Hopefully you are enjoying some nice weather over there. Ball bounces out the side for Argentina. A lot of pressure there. I believe that was going to be it. Lovu goes over the ball, but does end up giving away the penalty for hands down over the breakdown. Off your feet. Argentina now will kick this one for the touchline. So currently, as we sit, a draw would benefit both of these sides. Argentina would still qualify, and South Africa would also manage to qualify here. But if South Africa lose this game, they will not qualify for the next stage. And also South Africa, there's a Rudy in there as well. Now, Argentina with Pilandini again with the line-out throw. And Argentina, they looked strong last week in the LA Sevens, managed to get all the way through to the final where they did take on New Zealand. Got the Blitzboks 4 p.m. here, Sunny. Says Neil. Okay, so I've really butchered that time zone, haven't I? So 4 p.m. So you guys, that's only about a 6 and a bit hour difference, isn't it? That's actually not as much of a gap as I thought it was. Oh, throw not straight from Argentina. So it does now mean that South Africa will have themselves either the scrum feed or they could go for the line out. I believe they'll go for the scrum feed. Who will South Africa play in the quarterfinal, says Dirk. If the match sits the way that it does now, it would end up being South Africa playing Fiji. So a big match. But, yeah, at this stage it would be Argentina versus Great Britain, I believe, is the other side of things. That is if the match remains as this currently sits. If South Africa lose this game, they will be missing out. Shouldn't Van Vick. Nice one there from Argentina to be able to turn that ball back over, but Ricardo James to what they were searching for it, unable to do so. Bounce pass there from Los Pumas in the midfield now. Rodrigo Isgro taken down by Zane Davids. Feel like we're on the verge of one of these teams breaking through soon. Utsatsuk tries to find his pass on the outside, instead actually takes it to ground. Good ball retention so far from Los Pumas throughout this match. Jermaine Schultz, short ball. Bit of a hospital pass to Isgro. Finds the offload. Jermaine Schultz does the same. Marcos Maneta ball on the outside now. It is going to be Santiago Alvarez, another man who came off the bench. Doesn't pass it to the young man on his outside and just almost cost him the ball, but it is going to be an offside penalty against the Blitzboks this time. Go Argentina. Argentina win, says Juan. Argentina, I believe, will either take the quick tap here or kick it for the corner, or do they take the scrum? They might even consider the scrum here. And it looks like they are making subs, but it will be the scrum feed for Argentina. I wonder when the last time was we had a game in a sevens match end 0-0. I don't know when it has happened. I can't think of one since we started watching the sevens, which was after the Tokyo Olympics. Yeah, it's certainly been a while since we've seen a score that could be that low. Maybe a last minute drop kick from Los Pumas to get themselves the victory. Ball's been fed in. Palandini. Now, nice step. Here we go. Luciano Gonzalez accelerating, linking up on the outside. There's not going to be 0 points now because Marcos Moneta has scored the try. He's checking on Saviwe Sawyer's Wapi, picks him up as well. Good sign of respect from the youngster. Marcos Money Moneta, as the nickname is, that they've just given him on the commentary. Good morning, South Africa by 14. There's a Rudy there. That is brilliantly done by Argentina. Luciano Gonzalez breaking the line. In fact, and my apologies, it was that young man who I mentioned who wouldn't pass the ball earlier on, Elizalde. Actually passed the ball that time, and it worked out to be a try. So that will be a nice little lesson for him. Passing off to Marcos Moneta. This time smashing into the corner post there, Saviwe Sawyer's Wapi. Now Argentina with a tough kicking attempt. Doesn't go over, actually goes through the posts. That will make the score now 5 points to 0 in favour of Los Pumas with only 3 minutes remaining now on the clock. South Africa do need to fire back. And the thing is, they can't win this game 7 points to 5. And the reason I say that may sound like a weird statement. That would not be enough of a points differential to make them qualify for the quarterfinals. They need to score twice here for the South Africans. If there's a slip, now he's thrown the ball away though. Saviwe Sawyer's Wapi. Massive mistake from Moneta. May just end up with the Blitzboks countering. Now James Murphy, but the penalty in the breakdown. Ryan Ustays and leaving his feet at the breakdown, coming through and taking out the Argentine Jackler. Yeah, leading in off his feet. Unfortunately for Oosterhuizen. Now Argentina will be able to slow this one down once again. So if it stays the way that it is, in fact, interestingly enough, how's that work? South Africa actually still are in the top 2, according to the live table. They say it's the... Okay, interesting. So they're talking about how important the points differential is, but South Africa's points differential is actually worse than France's. I have no idea how that works and how South Africa go through rather than France in that case, because I don't think they beat Japan by as much of a margin either. So I have no idea how that works, but they might be qualifying. Thank you for the live. There's Apoleta there. We have got plenty more coming up in the near future for the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and finals as well. Coach Santiago Gomez Cora, charge of the Argentines here. Still 100 seconds left in this matchup. And Argentina win. There's Juan Inacio. Now Argentina with the position once again. Azutsuk goes back to Hermain Schultz. Now Visa. Ball bounces out the side. But it will be nicely done by Argentina. So I wonder how many tries does Argentina need to get up against France for it to then not be based off point differential. Oh, going over the top. Azutsuk going up the middle. Argentina looking like they're about to concede. Well, sorry, about to score. It is Hermain Schultz who gets another try for Los Pumas. And he will put that ball down again. See, I thought that would have meant that South Africa weren't able to fire back, but apparently they have still got themselves a qualifying spot in the quarterfinals in second, ahead of France. So it's the way they do it is normally previous result up against the side. So we did see South Africa and France draw, so you can't do that. So you go to points differential. France currently have the better of that, but they must go to something else first. I'll just make this stuff up as I go, to be honest. New Zealand versus Samoa, says Paletta. It is just around the corner, and we will be covering it on the channel, so be sure to stick around. It is going to be kicking off at, I believe, 11:10 or so, 11:13. I think the specific time is New Zealand time, but that kick has gone over for Los Pumas. That lady brought her paddle to the Sevens. Now that one is going to be kicked high and short for Los Pumas. They've been able to regather. Not allowed to run this ball into touch, but they could kick it out. Penalty goes the way of South Africa, though, so there's just that little bit more fight. South Africa 40 to Japan's 12. So, yeah, France ended up winning their game by a better margin, but now kicked them behind for South Africa. Now, according to the points differential, the way that they were saying it's going to be kicked dead by Argentina, and that will be the end of the contest. Los Pumas have won at 10 points to nil. And it does end up being the Argentines qualifying first in their group, so they will go through to face Great Britain in their quarterfinal fixture. And now I just want to see what they put up in terms of the who's going through to face who. Because I always thought that it was now France going through, but they seem to think it is South Africa. Argentina wins the best. There's Juan Nacio Pedrosa Martinez. And there as well from Juan there. Right, we'll refresh just for a second. So France were in second in their group. And I believe France are going through on points differential. I think there was actually a mistake in what they put up on the screen. On the World Sevens Series website, they have got the French going ahead of the South Africans due to that points differential. And you're Kiwi. Well, see, my South Africa kind says, or want to see my South Africa kind says Anthony. Is that asking where you can watch the games, Anthony? And go Pumas, says Lucas. And there as well. Yeah, I believe the way that it works out, it will be Fiji versus France as one of the quarterfinals. Argentina taking on Great Britain as the other. But now we have still got two more pools that we do need to confirm who will be going through. New Zealand have qualified for this spot. Ireland have qualified for theirs. Are you covering Super Rugby today? We will be. So there we go. It is going to be Great Britain versus France, in fact, in the first quarterfinal. And then Argentina will take on Fiji in the way that it does end up sitting. So that is a tough game to have. That is for sure. But it is going to be an exciting one nonetheless as the third quarterfinal. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning into this live stream. If you didn't enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are going to be back for the next matchup taking place between Samoa and New Zealand, not too far away at all. I will see you all for the next one.